All right, everyone, thank you all for attending today. I know we had a previous session, I think it was last Friday, but we've decided to take on board some of the feedback we got from the previous session and apply it today. So what we'll be doing is going through a series of videos. Feel free to follow along if you want by logging into the actual system. So, I mean, if you do have a Spredfast login, I think we send out emails with all of your credentials. Go ahead and log in. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that, and then from there, there'll be a couple of things we do just to get you in the right environment before actually completing any tasks. So if you will check your emails, there should be a Spredfast login if you do have one. Give you a couple of minutes. Gary's in there, it looks like it. Don't worry if you haven't got a login. If you haven't got a login, it's fine. You'll just be able to watch the videos, so it shouldn't be an issue. But everyone just gives me a thumbs up when they're ready. Crack on. You're good. Tom got one? I take it Thomas Jury has got one. No. And Taz, if you can just quickly check on the chat, see if everyone there is able to log in as well before we begin. Well, if you're in this room, you haven't got to join the video call because you're in this room anyway. Yeah, I think we might be reaching full. I mean, it is live now. It is on air now, so you might be able to get a few more. Doesn't help. We've got someone who joined 3 times under the same login.
When did you login date?
Taryn, when was the last training session? Friday. So if you haven't got one, Carl, it might be, I don't know. Did we have Carl down as a user? So that's probably why. I imagine so. But I mean, you'll still get plenty of information just from watching this anyway, so don't worry too much about that. Is everyone good to go in this room? What about on the chat? Is everyone ready? Okay. So I'll just go over what we're going to cover, hopefully in this hour. We'll try and finish at 5 because we don't want anyone to be going home late. But we'll access your user settings, which is the most important thing, and make sure you set the correct time zone, because when you're scheduling messages and using the calendar functionality, basically if you've got the wrong time zone, you're going to be sending messages at 2 o'clock in the morning from the States. So we have to make sure that it's completely correct for your region and area. And then on top of that, we're going to add all of your social accounts today, even if you've just got one that you want to add and delete, just so you can use for this purpose. We'll do that as well, and then we'll get into the sort of day-to-day features of the tool, which is focusing on the social inbox, which contains all of your streams of information, which we'll look at day to day, especially replying to any direct messages or a specific campaign or a hashtag that you're following. That'll be where you do that. And then we'll also focus on the publishing interface, so publishing direct to Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and how you do that within Spredfast. And then we'll look at the scheduling messages interface, content labels, and loads of other stuff. But we'll see where we get. So we'll just start from now and see where we get to. We'll be following up with bespoke training sessions for each market anyway. So if you haven't got any very in-depth questions that you've used the tool before, just save them and then have them at the end, or contact me and Taz via email, and we'll try and put our heads together and come up with the best answer we can. So I will actually take you through directly the admin section, if I can just quickly tab here. So if you are all logged in, I'm hoping some of you are, you click here and go to my account, and that will be the area where you change your time zone and all of those key things. So, for example, you've got myself there and my company and then my time zone. Yeah, completely. So for certain people, they've got the wrong time zone. So make sure you change that. Let me know when you've done that. Let me know when you've done that, and we can crack on from there, really. No, go ahead. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's a good point, actually. It's not often you find people in that situation, but yes, if you're publishing time zone, I should probably say then. Okay. I'll just run a video for the guys on the chat, but I mean, it's just what I spoke for a second ago, so.
So now that you're in Spredfast, let's go over the user and admin settings. The first thing that every user, no matter what their role in the Spredfast wants to do, is check their account settings to make sure it's correct. To do that, click your name and select My Account. The two most important things you want to do in this section is set your time zone to make sure it's set to your region's time zone, and then check your email subscriptions down below. Check the box if you want to receive an email whenever that instance occurs in Spredfast. Whenever you're done, click the Save button.
Okay, so if I can just get confirmation on the chat that everyone's done that, we'll move on to the next step. Just add in your voices, your social accounts. As soon as we get past this point, then we start to actually use the tool, which is the nicest part of this demonstration. Excellent, we've got a few dones on the Hangout, so I will quickly run this video. It just goes through what voices are, how they sit, and then we'll actually show you how to add a voice and how to authenticate a social account. But I'll run the video quickly for everyone sitting on the Hangout. Oh dear. Oh dear.
So now that you know what Spredfast does, let's go over some Spredfast nomenclature and configuration. At the highest level, we have a company. So for our instance, this is Be Cool Shoes. Then each company has an initiative. You can think of this like a campaign. This can be set up by region, by department, or in our instance for Be Cool Shoes, by brand. And then within these initiatives, you have what we call voices. And a voice is just a shell to hold the accounts that are being managed and then the users who are managing those accounts. So for example, we have our brand accounts voice, and within that voice, we have all of our brand accounts and the users who are responsible for managing those accounts. The majority of the time, you'll see this set up with a one voice per one account configuration. So, how does this look in Spredfast? If I scroll down, I can see my company down here on the bottom, and then these are all my initiatives within the company. If I want to jump into an initiative and see what the voice structure is, I can click the name and select voice. And as you can see, here are all my separate voices in my Be Cool Shoes Old Schools initiative. If I look inside of this voice, I see the accounts that we consider our brand accounts. If I click the person icon, I'll see the users responsible for managing all of those accounts here on the right. So, how do you even get into Spredfast? There's actually two separate.
Okay, so if I actually run through quickly how to actually add a voice directly, hopefully it should be a little bit easier for you. So if you all go back to the initiative dashboards, and there should be a little cursor here which you click. Oh no, not there, where am I? Sorry, to go to all initiatives first. for this purpose, I'll be using RBI Social. So I click there. And then down here, there's voices and accounts. And within that, you can see the voices and accounts I've already got added, but I'll quickly authenticate one just for example purposes. So we give our voices names, and Taran's got a specific naming structure that he likes. So it's whatever your social account is, down to 2 letters really. So for example, G plus would just be like that. And then for this is RBI Social. And then a little description. It's not necessary, but it's up to you whether you want that for your own internal purposes. And then you highlight the network that you need and click Authenticate. And then you'll be taken to wherever the social network is and asked to log in. In this case, we're already logged in, so it's just taking us directly through. Click Accept.
You went logged in, it would ask you which of the accounts you'd want to verify.
Yeah, it would ask you to log into your own. Yeah. And you've got options here if you run simultaneous pages, or for example, on Facebook, you might have 10 to 12 different pages. You don't want them all added to this particular voice, or in this case, Google Plus. You can choose. So for the purpose of this, I'll just be using the page RBI Social. And then one important thing to not forget is to make sure the correct users are able to access this voice, so this social account. Now by default, all of the admins are given access to all accounts, but you can go through before adding the account and make sure that you remove that. For example, if I take away Joy and add Taran and maybe Gary to this, and click Save, and that's it. It's done. It's automatically done at that point, so you can go back to the dashboard and then crack on. That's just a quick overview. Hopefully this little video here will take you through how the initiative dashboard works as well. We'll try and, if at any moment you get confused and you're stuck, just put up your hand to Taz or drop a message on the Hangout, because I know obviously there's a lot of integral bits we're doing here if you're trying to follow along.
You can access all other parts of the Spredfast platform by clicking into any of these tabs at the top. Or if you're on the All Initiative screen and you'd like to hop into a particular initiative, you can select the initiative name and choose where you want to go from there. Let's go ahead and start with the dashboard. The dashboard gives you a high-level overview of how your initiative is going. And by default, Spredfast is showing information for the past month. If you ever have any question as to what the time frame is, more information showing here, just hover over the active filter. As I scroll down through here, I can see we have a widget for engagement, for activity, total reach, network, average engagement by publication time, top 10 content by engagement, and so on as I continue to scroll down. Right now, this is showing information for every single account in my initiative. If I wanted to change that, I can go to the active filter. This is where I can filter down by voice if I wanted to, or social channel if I just wanted to see what's happening on Facebook, Twitter only, and I have my time frames I can filter by here on the left. If I wanted to make a change, I would click that and then click Apply. You can also export from the initiative dashboard. You can export individual widgets by clicking this button here, and I'll export it to a picture file. Or if I wanted to export this entire dashboard, I could select the Export Dashboard option. This will export it to a PDF file.
So your initiatives will be predetermined by me and Taran in the actual integration itself. So, for example, if you're part of the farmers market, you will only see the farmers initiatives. You won't see a QOT Flight Global. So I won't worry too much about entering the wrong dashboard, or the dashboards are going to be already predefined for you. And when you get yourself into the tool, you'll become more familiar with the terminology itself. So, yeah, go on.
How about initiatives, say for cross-market, something like jobs? Would it be still specific to parent brand?
No, they will be treated separately.
That means you can have their own sort of social media account.
Mm.
So you put them.
So presumably even if they didn't, you could just add those accounts to it if you felt like it.
Yeah.
You can add any account to any voice.
Yes.
Okay. We just carry on with the social inbox. This is sort of like, in my opinion, the best feature of the tool, what you're going to be using the most. So it's quite a long video, it's about 7 minutes long, but they do a great job of explaining what the social inbox actually is. And if you've ever used Hootsuite, you'll be familiar with the streams. So I'll let them do the explanation. Is there any other questions before we move on?
Is everyone trying to add an account? Okay. Yeah.
Is everyone authenticated? Okay.
The social inbox is where all the listening takes place in Spredfast. First thing you want to do when you're starting a new initiative is add in streams. That can be done simply by clicking the add button. You have different stream types you can add here. First thing you want to add in is your account-based streams. So these are streams that are tied to the accounts that you've authenticated in Spredfast. For example, I can see we're on Facebook, and here's my main Be Cool Shoes Facebook page. I can add in these different streams for that page. I can change the channel by selecting this drop down and choosing to go over to Twitter, and the same thing applies here. I can click my Be Cool Shoes Twitter account and add in those streams for that account. Once you have all of your account-based streams set, you can also add Twitter user streams. This is great for competitive analysis, or if you're a large company and you have a lot of different brands, you can start retweeting other brands by setting up a user account here. So for example, I would just enter in a user's Twitter handle. So this is a great section to come follow users without them being notified out on Twitter. You can monitor everything that they're saying. Once you have that set up, you may want to set up a keyword search stream. In order to do that, click the drop down and go down to search base. You'll enter in your keyword here, or you could do an even more advanced search and choose to include one or more of these words, none of these words, or this exact phrase. Once you have that keyword set, you'll then choose the channels you want to search across, and then select the add button. So for example, in the shoes initiative, sometimes we set up searches around different shoes to see what people are saying, so then we can proactively reach out to them and tell them about our shoes. We also allow you to monitor RSS feeds as well. So any discussion topics or words out there you'd like to monitor, this is Pinterest and Instagram as well. You can plug in that RSS feed URL here, click the search button, select add, and then click done and monitor everything that's happening in that stream. Once you're done with that, you'll click the done button and it'll add all those streams into your social inbox. Once you have that set, you'll then need to manage your view. So in order to do that, click the manage button. And this is where you change the order in which the streams appear. So for example, if I wanted this Planet Express blog to appear before the recent engagement stream, just a simple drag and drop. If I wanted to make a big move from left to right, I can take the red box and scroll across here. Let's say that on my Google Plus page to appear at the beginning, I can take this, drag it down into the stream, and drop it third in line right there. Notice that you also have your settings in here as well for the social inbox. So I can change whether I want to display stream item details always open. I can select notify me if new streams are created, so Spredfast gives me notification when another user adds a stream. And I can also select my highlighted stream default view here as well. Once I'm done making changes, I'll click save, and all those changes I've made will go into effect in my social inbox. Every stream has a management chevron in the top right corner, and this allows me to add filters or export the stream. So for example, if I wanted to search for the word Flash to see people talking about Flash out of our Be Cool Shoes Google Plus page, I can come into this filter and search for that keyword. Again, I have my time interval on the left, and then the different criteria I can search by. So let's type in Flash, click apply, and see what happens. As you can see, it's only filtered down posts that mention the word Flash. So this is a great way to quickly find material in your streams. And of course, if I wanted to export this out, again, I click that chevron and select export stream. It'll export this to a CSV file. If someone's asked me a question out on Twitter or on Facebook, and I don't know the answer for it, we can do what we call highlighting in Spredfast. I would hover over each of these individual options, As you can see, I get options that appear in blue, and then the Spredfast favicon on the right. If I wanted to do something that took place outside of Spredfast, so respond to this, retweet this message, or favorite it, I would select one of these blue icons you see right here below you. If I wanted to do something that was an internal Spredfast action, so add a content label, highlight this for someone else, or add an internal note, I can click the Spredfast favicon. You can see I have access to all of those here. So for this example, this person reaching out to us, I don't know the answer to this question. I'm going to highlight this item over for Megan in my initiative, who I know does know the answer to this question. So I'll start typing her name. I'll select her from the list, and then I'll click Save. And it's going to highlight this over to Megan. If there's another question and I wanted to leave notes around that, I could actually do that same highlight item, select Megan again as well, and then choose my additional options down here and add any content labels around this if I wanted to. So I could add that Be Cool Stories content label and notes, so I could ask her to please respond as soon as possible. So now that I've highlighted that over to Megan, it's going to appear in both of our highlighted streams. So let's scroll over and take a look at that. So here are those two messages that I highlighted. Let's pretend like I'm Megan now. I'll come in and see this Jenny Be Cool Shoes is highlighted for me. I'll click the plus icon to expand the item details. I see that there was one label applied to this, one note from Jeremy asking me to respond as soon as possible, and one highlight showing that Jeremy did this 1 minute ago. If I wanted to find out more information around this user before I reply to them, I could click their name. And on the right, it's giving me an author profile for this user. I can see her follower account. I can see her most recent tweet, how many tweets she's posted. And if I want to, I could actually add her to my influencers list. This is Spredfast visual indicator to let you know this is an important person out on your social channel. And for Twitter, we're also bringing in an interaction history. So I can see any interaction between us and Jenny Be Cool Shoes. As I scroll down here, as you can see, ever since we authenticated this account into Spredfast, it's been taking into account what we've been saying to each other. So if I come in mid-conversation, I'll actually have details around what's been happening. And then lastly, I can add notes to this user as well. So if I met Jenny at a conference and I wanted to put that note in here to say, hey, I met her, she may be reaching out to us in 2 weeks to talk to us about our new summer line that's coming out, I can leave that note in here so everyone else in my initiative has context around that situation too. So now that I have all the information around Jenny, I can submit my response to her by clicking the blue reply button. And just like our publishing screen, I would come here, write my response, click publish as soon as possible, and respond back to Jenny. And lastly, you have the ability to export all streams by clicking this export button here and choosing the streams you'd like to export out of Spredfast.
Okay. So that's the social inbox. As provided by Spredfast. I don't know if you guys want to take some time to actually create a stream, so I'll quickly change over to the other tab and create a stream just for example purposes, but it might be worth you guys actually going through the social inbox since you've authenticated your accounts. Sorry for those who don't have logins right now. But actually to create a stream and see how it works might be a good experience for all of you in this room and especially the people on the chat. So I'll quickly do that. So if you click social inbox at the top, and you can see this add button here. So pretty clear. And depending on what account you've authenticated, and if you have authenticated accounts, you have different options. Taz?
Yes, because certain accounts within the company, they won't need to do any posting, but they do need to monitor. So some people have,
It probably is worth, Taz, for this demonstration, making sure everyone is at a manager level so they can go through. You can quickly do that. I don't know about the rest of you in here, so I don't know if Byron, have you got the ability as well? Okay. Gary? No, same again. All right. We'll quickly change that.
yours would have changed by now as well.
We can have a look on the Hangout, see if there's anyone else who's struggling with any issues as well. Okay.
How do we add an account again?
Okay, so if we, I'll show you quickly here. So for those of you who haven't authenticated an account, what you do is you go back to the All Initiative screen.
Okay, yeah, so it's a step above the initiative dashboard.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then click on this cursor here, Voices and Accounts. So I'll let you all do that as well, please.
First of all, again, what's the first thing you're going to see? You're going to see your initiative.
You're going to see all initiatives.
So that's what
If you have more than one initiative. Now, if you only have one initiative,
in the dashboard.
it'll be in the dashboard option.
When you look at the inbox, I think people are mostly going to be looking.
Yeah, the inbox is what people are going to use day to day if they're actively participating in social media.
Is Spredfast helping us build our inboxes out? The same way they're doing for dashboards?
Yeah, completely.
That
That's
was kind of static.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yours should have changed now, Gary. You should be able to now go into the social inbox if you control F5. So, are you not logged in, have you?
Login
As in logged into Spredfast? So,
I'm trying to authenticate, but I don't remember my.
oh, you don't remember your own Twitter account? Hi, Gemma. You did something. Taron is there to support you. I'm really glad I signed like 10 minutes away from this presentation for this moment.
Just for this
For this exact moment, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you added an account yet? The auto import of us. The auto import into the social inbox. What are you talking about, Willis? Yeah. Yeah, we've got one added already here. Oh, I know what you mean. Okay, yeah, Taz is alluding to the fact that you can add accounts and take away permissions to actually post a message, just to have the feed of the account constantly coming through, if need be. But
you need to have a login permission just to add that account.
yeah. Otherwise, the best you can do is do a search at their at the account you might want to monitor instead.
Someone else can give you their credentials just for the login period.
Yeah.
One time for you, and you don't touch it.
Completely, yeah. Let me pop over because I think the guys on the Hangout are actually okay.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just curious about something. So it's horizontal.
Yeah, I know.
Everything's horizontal, but it's got all the way down.
Yeah, I mean,
How far down do they go?
these four streams here, the first orange streams you see are the Spredfast automatic streams, so there are people highlighting stuff. So I normally remove those, focus on your own account streams. So if you click manage,
Yeah.
you should be able to move the streams to add streams to yeah.
Even the inbox is.
Yeah, what's going to happen is Taz gone into the voices and you drag and drop the little actions that are relevant for you. Because we can predefine if they've been added, but some of them are added. Basically, so this is almost like a training / configuration session because we need people to actually use access to their social stream account. Gary's good. Yeah,
Did we get someone running
Something that yeah. You don't want to get.
Oh, okay.
You
just try it.
It's a good ad.
Yeah.
You should look on this is actually channel one.
This is just you want to, when you face it, I think you say you want just the stream of your Google Plus.
Yeah. I thought that's what you did.
How do you add the stream just Google Plus?
It wouldn't work.
Yeah, you should press that.
That's what I asked. Should I just do it? Normally it should make
Do you know where you have the permissions?
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have this.
So I'll show you exactly.
It's not like you're not keeping the system, it's just that you don't have the permissions.
What you want, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
It's literally.
I don't always have the ability to do the script. You have no voice, you have to go to only if you've got permissions to do that.
And then it will give you the options that if people.
So you're not giving everyone the correct permissions?
No,
These
these guys are, you know, the analysts.
They only need to see, they don't need to. Yeah, I just wasn't sure whether it was an interface problem. Just that we have.
I'm asking the right questions.
Yeah, they're online.
So only people who have orange or red
Yes, you need to be doing permission. So these guys do, but if anyone's left any messages since. Yeah. I mean, what's the way this will probably work is that Spredfast will create these boxes for you and you'll use it.
Yeah, there's one other
So you
thing
would really need to add these to it.
It has the auto import function. So if you go back to like manage voices or where it is, don't forget import.
Sorry?
So if you go to manage voices, the microphone icon.
Yeah, I've been getting them to go direct through the stream, like through the all initiatives, but
I just want to show them the auto import part.
yeah, okay, yeah. That's when you add an account.
It's after you've added the account, and then here you go.
If you want to quickly talk through that, then
Yeah. Shall I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, guys. I just want to make a important point. After you've actually added a social account, and you end up back on this main landing page where it says voices and accounts, what you want to do is actually press the auto import button. And what that will allow is if you post off Twitter directly using their website or mobile application, etc., it will still pull through your social data. So it won't have any of the on-Mitchell data and the tracked links, etc. after we've set that up, of course.
Yeah.
But for the time being, if you do go off the platform, it will still bring in your data.
If not, then they'll be completely separate.
Yes, so then it
like a personal account. Keep the two things separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, we'd recommend using this because your personal data, like your messages and everything that you can read, will always remain like confidential to you and to the accounts you give it access to. Did you talk through the users part?
Yeah, I've already spoke through the admin part,
So,
yeah.
Main thing of this is users and auto import.
Well, I think everyone's played around enough on the social inbox. I think Gemma's a little confused still. So if we get Taz to go over quickly just to check her over, but everyone else will carry on with the presentation. Taz, carry on. Okay, so we've got 20 minutes left. There's only a couple more things we've got to cover, but the most important thing is being able to actually publish through the interface itself. So I'll quickly run this video. It goes through how to publish very quickly.
If you'd like to publish a message to Spredfast, as long as you're in any of the 5 tabs, you'll have access to the publishing icons on the left. Simply select which channel you'd like to publish to and click the icon. You can give this an internal message name here. This will not publish to the social channel. Then you can post your message underneath that. You'll notice that our link is turned blue. This means it's automatically going to be shortened to a bit.ly link so we can track clicks later once it publishes. You'll also notice the character counter went down, taking into account the 140 character limit out on Twitter. If I wanted to, I could add a picture by clicking the camera icon here, or I could add a text asset by clicking the text asset button. Under that, we have our additional options. So if I wanted to add a label to this, I could. I could simply type it in and select it from the list.
Okay, so that's a key point to focus on. When adding content labels, they're going to be predefined by the market itself because we're trying to limit them to 10 because any misspellings, any wrong classification will basically make that a complete mess. So anyone on the Hangout or anyone who's going to have a voice and they're going to be publishing, please make us aware of the content labels that you think are most relevant for your brand, and then we'll predefine them alongside yourself, and then they'll be available every time you type a message.
I can apply as many labels as I want to this content. For more information around labels, please watch our Introduction to Labels and Best Practices video. As you can see, I have other options. I can additionally add approvals. I can add internal notes to this if I want to, or I can see a log of activity around this as well. If I wanted to assign this message to another user, I can click the Assign To hyperlink and select User from the list, and then I choose the account I want to publish it from. I then choose to publish it as soon as possible, or schedule this to publish at a later time. Once ready, I'll click Queue for Publishing. I can copy this message, view the agenda, close the window, or create an entire new message from the screen. I'm going to close out. If I want to publish a message that isn't your regular tweet or a status update out on Facebook, I would access that by clicking the drop-down arrow next to the publishing icon. This is where you publish your blog, maybe out on WordPress, or if you're uploading a photo into a photo album on Facebook, you can do that through here as well, videos to YouTube, or our discussion topics for LinkedIn groups. And I can also post series messages. Series messages are great to put placeholders on your calendar for weekly or other cadence posts. If I wanted to do one of these, I'd select what I wanted to do, I would give it a name, give it a date, select the time, add any content labels, assign it to the appropriate user, and then click Save and Add Content to continue filling it out. Lastly, if you're someone who loads a lot of messages in bulk into your calendar so you know what you're publishing weeks in advance, you can use our message importer. That's accessed by clicking this icon here. And all you would do is download this template, make sure it's in the correct format, fill out the date, time, name, content, as you can see in this list below, save that CSV file, click the Import Messages button, select one channel, so you can only upload messages for one channel at a time, then select the account or accounts you'd like to publish to, and if you want to select all the accounts, click Select All, browse the computer for that CSV file, find that file, and then click the Upload button. It'll then upload all of your messages at once into Spredfast.
So when you click that button, assigning a tweet, so you created a tweet, published it, you've then assigned it to someone. What does that mean?
That means they will come up in their Spredfast feed, so those 4 orange boxes that you saw, to monitor for any activity moving forward on that tweet. So if someone replies to it, or someone retweets it, or favorites it, or likes it, that person has full visibility of that in those orange boxes that you saw in the social inbox when you first loaded it. I believe.
Assign it to more than one person.
Yep, absolutely. You can assign it to even teams, depending on how you structure the first setup. I mean, something they did go over there very quickly, I know it was only a 5-second piece, was around approval paths. Now, if you have someone who's new to social media, maybe an intern, and you don't fully trust them with the voice of your brand account, but you want them to still undertake the activity, you can arrange approval paths, so that way you can see the messages that they want to send out and approve them before sending them out, so they'll never reach the social network before going past yourself.
But it would still be published under their name.
Yeah.
And you can edit live, you don't have to send it back to them.
Yeah, you can send it live, yeah. So that's all down to your structure as well, especially for the markets. Now, there is a quick video on calendars, which I'll go through, especially for the guys on the Hangout, because they're more editorially focused. It might not be so relevant for you guys in the room, except for Carl. But it's around building your content library and seeing what's being published moving forward from your whole team and the initiative that you work within. So I'll quickly start this video. This will be the last one for today.
The calendar tabs are all messages that are scheduled to publish or that have already published live. On the screen, you'll see an icon that signifies the status. As you can see here, we have quite a few messages in different statuses. If I ever have any question as to what the status means, I can always click the Help tab on the right, and we're providing a legend for you to know what those are. I then see my message, showing me the subject and the message underneath. I also see the time this message is either scheduled to publish or did publish, the user it's assigned to, and the channel it's supposed to go out on. If I want to see more information, I can click the plus icon and expand this one individual item, or I can click Expand All and expand all messages on my account. Now that I've expanded it, I can see what voices and accounts this is publishing to. So for example, if I hover over the one, I see it's going to rain accounts. If I hover over the accounts, I see it went to our Be Cool Shoes page. Moving to the right, I have a magnifying glass that will allow me to view more item details around this message. I can click the Copy Message button to copy this message and repurpose it for another channel. Or I can star this item to come back and filter by this later. This works a lot like Gmail. For messages that haven't published yet, you'll see that we have the pin icon and the trash can icon. Pin icon will allow me to open up this message for further editing. I can make any edits and click Update. Or if I no longer need this message, I can click the trash can icon and delete this message from my view. Filters make it much easier to see specific channels or accounts where you may not be interested in other things that are appearing in the calendar. We have two different filters in Spredfast. Quick Filter. If I select this, I have the most commonly used filters in Spredfast. Quick Filter primarily holds statuses and channels. And I can click into the Advanced Filter to go even deeper into my filter criteria. As you can see here, I can filter by user, channel, Google Teams, responses only, voices, accounts, content label. Really, I have a lot more options here to choose from. Something quick to note is all filters can be saved. So if I click the Save button here, I'll give it a name, and I can click Apply. And anytime I go back into that filter setting, that filter is going to be there for me to use. Filters are based at the user level, so any filter I create, no one else in my initiative will be able to see. And filters are also sticky, so that means if I apply that filter and then jump into the Analytics tab and jump back into the calendar, that filter will stay applied. You can navigate between days by clicking the Previous Day or Next Day buttons here at the top. Or I can jump straight to Today by clicking the Today button. If I want to make a large jump, I can click the calendar icon. And you'll notice that any day that has a dot underneath it is a day that has content scheduled to publish or that is already published for that day. If I want to make a large jump, I'm going to scroll through where I want to go on this calendar and select the day I want to watch. If I'd like to view a more editorial style calendar of my messages scheduled to publish, I can click the Week tab, and this is where I see that information. So right now we're giving you the basic message details. I see the time, the status icon for that message, and the type of message, and the channel it's supposed to go out to if we plan that. You can also see these are color-coded to match the status icons. If I'd like to view more information, I can click the Expand All here, and I see who the message is assigned to and the subject for that message. I can click into a message to view more details around it, and it gives me the option to go view this in the agenda with those same three options we had in the agenda right here as well. And keep in mind, I can scroll between previous and next week, or make large jumps on the calendar, just like I could in my agenda view. Same goes with filters. I have access to use these same filters in this view as well.
Okay, so that's really it for today. I mean, feel free, you've all got logins to the system now to play about as much as you like. On the editorial side, I know you want to focus more time probably on the calendar, so it might be worth scheduling some messages and actually seeing how the calendar actually works. Apart from that, I mean, feel free to enjoy the rest of your evening, really. If there's any If there's any really, really critical questions that you need to ask, drop them in an email to us, because one of the main concerns I'm having with this training sessions is that there's so many different functions brought together that it's really hard to tailor it appropriately, because you've got to focus on the publishing side, which is more editorial focused, and then you've got the analytics guys in the room here today who are more interested in the social analytics and how they can possibly integrate with Omniture. So we're trying to cater off as much as we can, but any really, really crucial feedback we'd appreciate. So that's it really. Thank you all for coming. Cheers.